This is a virtual fly-through along the HS2 route from the Chiltern Tunnel North Portal near Great Missenden, 21 miles up the line to Calvert. The directions given are in relation to the route, north being towards Birmingham and south towards London. Here we're looking east along the temporary haul road that connects the route to the A413 at the Link Road roundabout. South Heath can be seen further east and Frith Hill is to the south. This is the tunnel portal with the porous portals nearing completion. These are designed to reduce the build-up of noise as trains exit the 10-mile-long tunnel at 200 miles an hour. The route alignment from here allows for speeds up to 225 miles an hour. The concrete batching plant supplies the next section of the route and the tunnel walkways being constructed. The route continues in the South Heath cutting, passing under a series of road and footpath overbridges. The concrete bases for the first of these, footpath GMI 12 overbridge, are now in place. Just north, Mulberry Park Hill was the first of the houses to be demolished across the Chilterns. You can see a new bat house that has been built in the remains of the garden just to the west of the route. Potter Row is a short distance to the east. The next bridge is footpath GMI 2 accommodation overbridge. These carry vehicles as well as the footpath and are of much more substantial construction than a purely footpath overbridge. It is situated north of the existing footpath route. This remains open with a manned crossing of the haul road. Once complete, the footpath will be diverted over the bridge and around Havenfield Wood. Here we're looking north as the route continues in the South Heath cutting. Wendover Dean viaduct can be seen in the distance. Leather Lane Overbridge is the first of the 3 road bridges in this section. It was to be constructed offline, meaning the lane would remain open during construction and then be realigned over the bridge. This would have involved the felling of a large number of trees and the loss of a migration route for the wildlife, including 9 species of bats. Revised plans for a green overbridge mean that no more trees will be lost. Also saved just south of the lane is a lone oak tree named Ilona, which was to have been felled. As the bridge will essentially be constructed online, Leather Lane will be closed for approximately 14 months during construction. To the east of the route, Potter Row becomes King's Lane beyond the junction with Leather Lane. The route continues across open farmland, cutting through Grimm's Ditch, an Iron Age earthwork, a section of which has been lost. Sheet piling has been installed to safeguard what remains. An accommodation overbridge plan for here will not now be constructed. Footpath TLE2 accommodation overbridge will give the farmer vital access to land to the west of the route. Bowood Lane overbridge is now complete. As the bridge was constructed online, the lane has been closed for over 3 years during construction, twice as long as originally envisaged. This is the first bridge to be open in the Chilterns and the first one north of London, albeit at the moment just for cyclists and pedestrians. Bowood Lane is a very little used sunken lane and remains closed. It will eventually be reinstated across the bridge over 2 years later than planned. The route then leaves the South Heath cutting and moves on to the Wendover Dean South embankment, then on to the Wendover Dean viaduct. This is 415 metres long and up to 20 metres high, and, according to HS2, is the first major railway bridge in the UK to be built with a double composite structure using significantly less carbon-intensive concrete and steel in comparison to a more traditional design. Beyond the viaduct, the route continues on the Wendover Dean North embankment, then into the Rocky Lane cutting. Rocky Lane Underbridge will take the road under the route. It is being constructed offline, meaning the road remained open during construction. Once completed, the road will be realigned under the bridge. Looking back towards the underbridge, showing the vast swathe of land used during construction. The railway itself requires a small proportion of the land, the rest being used for material storage, as well as the haul road and a site access road. These will all be removed once construction is complete. The route continues onto the Small South embankment. This is being constructed using material removed from the South Heath cutting. The A413 can be seen on the right. A 600-metre long, fully enclosed conveyor system crosses the main road here. It is being used to move an estimated 1.4 million tonnes of materials over the A413 and the Chiltern Railway for use further up the line. The Small Dean Viaduct was assembled on the Small Dean South embankment, and then, over a weekend at the end of January 2025, it was launched in one go. It was pushed out across the 6 supporting piers, moving at about 10 metres an hour, crossing the A413 and the Chiltern Railway. The route leaves the viaduct on the Small Dean North embankment. This will rise up to 14 metres above the current ground level and will act as a dam for water running off the adjacent fields, diverting it to the north. The last of the bridges in the Chilterns will be the Small Dean Lane and Grove Farm accommodation underbridge, which will pass through the embankment. The route continues past Grove Farm. A massive underground cistern is being built here. It will collect runoff water from the embankment and the surrounding fields before feeding it into Grove Farm Calvert. The south portal of the Wendover Green tunnel is just south of Backham Lane. This will be a 3/4 of a mile long cut and cover tunnel built by excavating a cutting in the ground, forming a tunnel box from precast concrete segments and then covering it over with landscaping. It will have porous portals like the Chiltern Tunnel. To accommodate the volume of water in a 1 in 100-year storm, the Grove Farm drainage culvert, 1,600 metres long, is being created alongside the tunnel. The first half will be a 2.4 metre diameter pipe running from the south portal and under Aylesbury Road. A boring machine is excavating the tunnel. This was lowered down a newly created access shaft north of Backham Lane and alongside the cutting. The lane is now closed until December 2026. A temporary link road has been built connecting the lane to Aylesbury Road. It runs alongside the wooden fence, which you can see across the middle of the picture. Once the tunnel is complete, the lane will be realigned over the tunnel portal. The tunnel passes under Aylesbury Road. 6 houses were demolished here to make way for the cutting. A bridge takes some of the utilities over the route. The road is closed and has been temporarily diverted to the north of the remaining houses. It crosses the route on a Bailey bridge. Designed as a double arch, the tunnel will have two separate halves for southbound and northbound trains. 5 different concrete precast segments will be slotted together to achieve the double arch. Each one will be steel reinforced, with the largest weighing 43 tons. Over 2,500 segments will be used, and they are being made in Ilkeston, Derbyshire, and transported by road. Each round trip will be over 200 miles, a total of over 500,000 HGV miles. The tunnel is being constructed in 4 phases, and phase 1 is now complete and the tunnel is being waterproofed. This consists of 2 layers of plastic sheeting, each 4 millimeters thick, with a green layer of mastic in between. The next section will be phase 3, taking the tunnel to the North Portal alongside Folly Bridge, the last of the bridges across the Wendover bypass. Beyond the tunnel, the Wendover North cutting is being created, as well as a low permeability tanking wall to stop an aquifer discharging into the cutting. There are 2 concrete batching plants here, one on either side of the route. The excavators creating the wall can be seen just north of these plants. The route then crosses Nashley Road. This has been temporarily diverted over another Bailey bridge, whilst Nashley Road overbridge is being constructed. The road will then be realigned over the bridge. This is where HS2 leaves the Chilterns and moves on towards Stoke Mandeville and the Vale of Aylesbury. The Stoke Mandeville South embankment has been created using chalk brought up from the cutting for the Wendover Green tunnel. It was transported along the Hall Road with just one crossing of Nashley Road. Alongside the embankment is the site of the remains of St Mary's Church. The church was built shortly after the Norman conquest. It went out of use in the 1880s when the new St Mary's Church was built closer to the centre of the village. By 1966, the building was considered dangerous, so the Royal Engineers were brought in to demolish it. Over the next 50 years, the rubble pile became overgrown with vegetation. HS2 provided a rare opportunity to excavate and understand the history of this building. Risborough Road underpass currently takes the Hall Road over Risborough Road. Once construction of the Stoke Mandeville bypass is complete, the road will be stopped up, but access to properties, including the Bucks Goat Centre, will be maintained via the underpass. Footpath SMA 9 accommodation overbridge is being constructed here. Marsh Lane, running down from Stoke Mandeville, has been permanently stopped up for several years. The A4010 Stoke Mandeville bypass overbridge will take the road over the route here, continuing on to the junction with Lower Road at the second roundabout as a South West Aylesbury Link Road, forming part of the future Aylesbury Orbital Link Road. Stoke Mandeville Hospital can be seen at the top left of the picture. The Chiltern Railway has been realigned over the Princess Risborough to Aylesbury Railway overbridge. The route continues in the Aylesbury South cutting, passing under a series of footpath and footpath accommodation overbridges. It then moves on to the Aylesbury embankment, passing under 3 footpath overbridges. The A418 Oxford Road has been realigned across an overbridge at Hartwell to the west of Aylesbury. The National Trust property Hartwell House can be seen beyond the main road. The realignment of the Oxford Road takes it over the bridge about 100 metres south of its original alignment. The route continues on the Oxford Road embankment across what was once Aylesbury Park Golf Club. The course closed in 2019. Footpath SBH 32 overbridge crosses the route here, just to the east of the gardens at Hartwell House, which were laid out by Capability Brown around 1750. The trees in the North Avenue were planted in 1830. Tame Valley viaduct crosses the floodplain of the River Tame. It is 880 metres long and just 3 metres high, and is supported by 35 piers. All the major components are being manufactured off-site. Just to the east is the Ravens Lane Industrial Estate. Just to the north of the viaduct is Putlow's accommodation overbridge, crossing Putlow's Cutting. A short distance to the east is Aylesbury Vale Parkway Station, the northern terminus of the Chiltern Railway, and beyond that the Berryfields Estate. The route continues onto the Bicester Road embankment, passing under Bridleway FMA1 overbridge as it approaches the A41 Bicester Road at Fleet Marston. The original road is stopped up and has been realigned along a new road just to the east of the route. The route continues on the Bicester Road embankment, then into the Woodston and South Cutting. Blackgrove Road has been stopped up, removing an accident black spot at its junction with the A41. The A41 then crosses over the route on the A41 Bicester Road overbridge. The route continues in the Woodston South Cutting. Footpath WAD4 accommodation overbridge crosses the route as it moves on to the Woodston embankment, and then under footpath WAD3 accommodation underbridge close to Glebe Farm to the east of Woodston. The route continues on the Quainton South embankment, passing under Needles Farm accommodation overbridge. It then passes very close to the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre at Quainton. It then continues into the Quainton Cutting. Station Road will be stopped up here and then realigned over the Station Road overbridge. Bridges from here to Calvert will be wide enough to accommodate 4 tracks, with provision for a possible Aylesbury link to the East-West Railway. This section follows the original Great Central Railway. Beyond Quainton Road Station, it was reduced to single-track working and was used by trains transporting London's waste to the Calvert landfill site. The track beyond the station, which is now part of the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre, has now been removed. Opposite Upper South Farm, the former Metropolitan Railway line to Verney Junction can be seen, leaving the original line to the north. The route then moves on to Doddesall embankment, then passing under bridleway QUA 28A, accommodation overbridge, and then over a series of culverts. It continues close to the 16th century Doddesall House over footpath QUA 26, accommodation underbridge, and then it enters the Woodlands cutting as it passes Quainton Auto Transformer feeder station and Quainton grid supply point to the east of the route, and then under Edgecote Road overbridge. Here we're looking west across the bridge, which is being built offline. Once it is completed, Edgecote Road will be realigned over the bridge. The route then moves on to Grendon Underwood embankment, passing over Adams Accommodation Underbridge. Looking east, the route continues under footpath QUA 36, accommodation overbridge. The route then goes under bridleway GUN 28, accommodation overbridge, before it passes close to the Great Moor Energy from Waste Station. It then enters the Calvert cutting and under the controversial Sheephouse Wood bat protection structure. Although not technically classed as a tunnel, the design is based around a series of arches, each around 23 metres wide and 10 metres high. The arches will alternate with steel mesh panels to allow natural ventilation. Each of the arches are made of 2 curved segments which weigh up to 27 tons. 2 cranes are required to lift each of the segments into position and to support them while the joint is sealed with concrete. Sheephouse Wood is home to several different bat species, including the most northerly known colony of the rare Beckstein's bat. All the bats are legally protected in the UK, and the structure will allow bats to cross the line without being harmed by passing trains. Calvert landfill site lies to the west of the route. At the northern end, the arches are being installed back to back to form a green bridge, footpath SCL 13 green overbridge, with landscaping and vegetation to be planted on top to allow wildlife to cross the railway. To the east of Calvert, School Hill Green Overbridge will carry a single carriageway over the HS2 main line and the Aylesbury link, with a dedicated corridor providing safe wildlife passage. The route then passes just to the east of Calvert Jubilee Nature Reserve before crossing under the east-west rail overbridge. This line will re-establish a rail link between Oxford and Cambridge, the old Varsity line as it was known, having been closed in 1966. The Calvert Infrastructure Maintenance Depot will be situated on the northern side of the line, and beyond can be seen Steeple Claydon. Looking to the west, the route continues in the Calvert cutting, passing under Perry Hill and West Street overbridges, and then on towards Twyford. The pictures used in this virtual fly-through were taken on one return flight from Denham to Calvert in July 2025. More pictures of the construction of HS2 across the Chilterns and the Tame Valley Regional Park can be viewed in the HS2 photo diary on the Chiltern Society website.